a beautiful morning. I think I'll go outside for a while.
Flaky and delicious.
That is a beautiful morning, isn't it?
Cup of coffee was one of those. Good way to start your day. Pete Hegseth is live at Maureen's Kitchen out in Smithtown on Long Island.
Pete, when we go to heaven, do you think that there's buffalo?
Yes, absolutely, as much as possible. I will say the specials here this morning are fantastic. I recommend the Holy Cannoli French Toast. New specials every single day here at Marines. But we're here at it's so good. But what's more fun is the camaraderie of this place. It's filled up almost immediately. It's an institution here in Suffolk County, a county that went for Donald Trump. And we're talking to everybody all morning, including T-minus Frank and Tommy that are all here for breakfast. And I'm asking them, tackle for,
I would say
fix the VA,
the economy.
the economy, fix the economy,
Refugee crisis.
and the refugee crisis. So issues that are hot topics in Washington, hot topics for Donald Trump. A lot of expectations here that he's going to tackle them from day one.
All right, Pete, we'll check with you again over at the diner. The president looks like he might be ready to reform some some trade packages, and also be ready to build a wall on the north and southern border.
That's your headline? What about the holy cannoli?
Right.
That sounds fantastic.
A lot of nougat. The nougat. Nougat. Is that what you jam cannolis with?
Not at our house.
I think a nougat is like a candy bar,
Is
right?
it?
I think you put like a whipped cream type. It's like some sort of a frosting.
Yeah, it's delicious.
Heather,
whatever
we should
it is.
probably do some headlines now, right?
I suppose so. A smorgasbord. And
What do you put in a cannoli? What's it called?
Cannoli
Filling.
cream. Right?
Filling. Cream.
It's filling.
Yeah, it's delicious though.
Chris, will you stay out of this? All right. Heather News
We'll just ask the Italians around.
I know. The Italians start yelling out.
You need to know, Brian. All right, good morning to all of you. Hope you're off to a great day. A couple quick headlines to bring you right now. A showdown of presidential proportions just hours from now on Capitol Hill. President Obama and Vice President-elect Mike Pence making dueling pitches in the battle over Obamacare. But the White House insists that this has nothing to do with preserving the president's legacy.
The stakes are high. Some people might think that, well, the president's very concerned about the political capital that he's invested in this and he doesn't want to see it all go away. That's certainly true. But the president's priority and the president's motivation is rooted in looking out for the interests of the 22 million Americans whose health care would be taken away if Republicans repeal the Affordable Care Act.
Well, there you go. Republicans could repeal and replace Obamacare with 50 votes in the Senate and a majority in the House. Democrats used the same method to pass much of the law back in 2009. President-elect Donald Trump hard at work behind the scenes, laying the groundwork for that border wall.
Along the southern border.
The Trump transition team sending wide-ranging requests to the Department of Homeland Security. They want to know where the barrier can go and how much money is available to build it, and whether or not the Obama administration altered immigrant records to protect some from deportation. We'll keep watching that. A $6 million New Year's Eve jewel heist in New York City that we've told you about may have been an inside job. According to the New York Post, a worker for a safe company may have given the crooks combinations to break into the jewelry store's vaults. The thieves still on the run after that midnight heist, but police have a clear picture of them. Look at this guy. He looks straight at the camera. And Mariah Carey breaking her silence on that disastrous New Year's Eve performance. Listen. Well, that singer going on to tell Entertainment Weekly, quote, "I'm of the opinion that Dick Clark would not have let an artist go through that, and he would have been as mortified as I was in real time." Well, Carey's camp originally slammed the production company for what they called sabotage, saying that company set her up to fail after a slew of technical issues. They fired back, claiming that she was defamatory, outrageous, and absurd. And those are your headlines. So imagine that. We screw up and we blame the crew.
Right. No, well, a lot of times they do.
It always works.
Right.
Right?
But I would keep in mind, too, I was more prepared to sing Mariah Carey's song than she was on that night. This is her quote. The Dick Clark producer's direct request was, quote, "I'm begging you to do this. America needs this moment after Donald Trump." So Mariah Carey was supposed to heal the nation single-handedly. She forgot how to sing and dance.
America needed it.
With more now, music critic, Lieutenant Colonel Oliver North. Ollie, how are you? Happy New Year, sir.
Happy New Year.
Nice to see you.
God love
Happy New
you.
Year.
Hey, Ollie, let's talk about some real news of the day.
Yeah.
The soon-to-be president of the United States put out a tweet yesterday. The intelligence briefing on so-called Russian hacking was delayed until Friday. Perhaps more time needed to build a case. Very strange. Do you think there's something fishy about the Russian hacking thing?
I think if this administration, the incumbent, is going to do anything at all about Russia, it should have been about the bombing and the carnage in Syria, Ukraine, Georgia, all the things they've done to threaten the Baltic states. I mean, when you look at what Russia has done, the most egregious aren't hacking into somebody's email and showing what the Democrats are saying to each other.
And as you're walking out the door to send diplomats home and come down hard, what are you doing? We've never seen a lame duck president act like this as they're leaving the scene.
Almost everything that you could look at in the world today is worse because of the 7.5 or now almost 8 years of this administration. And that's what this special is all about. It's kind of a warning call to the new administration. I mean, what we've got coming up on Sunday night at 8 on on Fox News Channel.
Right.
Is that shameless?
Yes.
It's kind of like Mariah Carey, but I remembered when my show was.
Right.
So if you look at what they're doing today, the consequence of this administration in its hands-off approach, its definition of leading from behind, it has created a catastrophe, a refugee flood unlike any other, over 500,000 dead between Syria and Iraq, and there's no good way out of this. And so the warning call for the administration is, what are you going to do after Mosul is eventually liberated? And that's not going to happen anytime soon.
What is your advice to Donald Trump? You're saying there's nothing that we can do?
No, there's a lot of things we can do, and the options are significant. But one of the things that's going to be very important is deciding after Mosul, and Mosul will eventually fall. ISIS cannot hold on to it forever. But the casualties to civilians and to the Iraqi military and the Kurdish military have been significant. And what's going to happen is somebody's going to decide either we're going to have a new country over here or we're not. And when I was with in what is currently Iraq, remember, these borders were drawn by a French cartographer and a music specialist from Great Britain.
Okay, now tell us what this map is.
President Barzani gave me that map, and it's an idea of what perhaps a Kurdistan might look like. You notice it goes from the Syrian border
up here.
Yeah, well, this is this would be Kurdistan.
Where is it right now?
Today, it's the Kurdish autonomy. Politically, he'd like to see it a little different. What this is right now is a berm. It's just like World War I. There's a deep trench and a berm that's been built up all along that red line. Eventually, they'd like to see that red line drop down a little bit over here in Nineveh province.
Okay.
And the idea of it, however, is that the Trump administration is going to have to make some decisions that this administration, the Obama administration, was totally unwilling to make. And the aftermath of this catastrophe in Syria is you've got literally millions of human beings who have fled. The population of Mosul today is about 1 million, and they're hostages.
So you talked to the Barzani, the commander, not the father who was running the Kurds, but the soundbite that you have for us?
Well, I'm not sure which side. That's me sitting down with President Barzani, and we're looking at this map.
This is the son. That's the son.
That's the dad.
That's the dad.
That's the president.
We've got two clips from this weekend's war stories. The first one is of a firefight, and I think it involves an IED.
It does. Well, actually, it's a suicide bomber.
All right.
Go ahead and watch this. As Iraqi forces engage ISIS fighters in close combat on the streets of Mosul, 1 million people are still trapped in the city. Driving on the outskirts of town, we see signs of explosive devices planted by ISIS, just waiting to kill. Little taste of what things are like.
What are the
out
signs?
there.
You saw signs?
Well, no, some of them have been posted. They'll say that this area is secured but not cleared. Secured means there's no ISIS fighters left that they know of, and they have not cleared the IEDs, of which there are tens of thousands. So civilians are killed and injured every day by these things.
So let me just give an idea of what's happening over there. So tell me if this is wrong. Iraq has a Shia government running it. Mosul mostly Sunni. They plan on taking back Mosul with most mostly Shia, and when they get it back, they have no plans that you know of that say that the Sunni will be allowed to police it, like the way Petraeus left it.
What's even worse is you've got Shiite militias that are dominated by the Iranians with Hezbollah troops and officers with them. And we've actually got footage that you'll see Sunday, just a little tease. On Sunday, you'll see one of these militias pull up to a checkpoint right behind me, and you can see the Iranian flags. The Mahdi army is run by the Iranians.
So are we scared? Are we turning Mosul over to the Iranians?
Wait a second. What you got to understand is the Obama administration has turned over Syria and Iraq to the Iranians. They are the dominant force in the region.
Ali, what about the fact that the Obama administration is trying to get as many guys out of Gitmo as possible before closing time?
Yeah. One of the jokes over there was, are they going to get us out of here before they close Gitmo? And my hope and my prayer is we're not going to close Gitmo because we're going to need it. And the Trump administration has said, we want to keep it open because there are bad people that will walk around and commit further acts, just like many of those we've released from Gitmo already have. This administration can't get out of town soon.
So they're saying over there, the good people are saying, we're going to stay here, we're in danger. He cares more about the people that are the terrorists in Gitmo than he does us.
Well, because he can control that. I mean, he's let the situation go so badly in the Middle East that you've got a catastrophe going on in Syria, nearly that in Iraq. But and we've abandoned our only democratic ally, and that's Israel.
Think about the scenario. We have American soldiers who captured the worst of the worst and put them into prison. Now we're letting them out. Minimum 30% go back to fighting us, and they're killing Americans again.
Yes.
So Americans got killed capturing them. Now they're getting killed as we let them back out.
We elected him twice.
Yeah.
God help us.
We did.
All right, Colonel, I'm so excited. This is such a great tease. I'm going to watch on Sunday. What time?
8 p.m. Fox News Channel. That's Eastern time for those of you.
Okay.
All right.
We'll be back.
I can't imagine
always
how
a
much
pleasure.
more you have seen up close and personal.
And I'm still here.
You are.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Happy New Year.
Thank you for
Great to
everything.
see you.
And how many grandkids later?
17.
17.
There you go.
Hi, kids.
All right. They're watching Grandpa. All right. 7:12 now here in New York City. Meanwhile, in the city of Chicago, it's in the worst shape they've been in decades. Can President-elect Donald Trump do what President Obama could not? Coming up, a pastor from the Windy City here with how the next commander-in-chief can fix Chicago.
Plus, somebody help these C-list celebrities take their country back.
To the extent that Trump pursues racist,
sexist, anti-immigrant,
anti-worker, anti-Muslim, anti-Semitic, anti-environmental policies,
we demand that you vigorously oppose him.
You think that's going to work? Think about that and debate that on your kitchen table.
And in just a few hours, President Obama will make a rare visit to Capitol Hill to try to save Obamacare. But are there any parts worth saving? Dr. Oz is here to talk about that. There he is in the green room.
He does not love this topic.
Chaos in Chicago, the city ending 2016 with 762 homicides. Compare that to 459 when President Obama took office in 2009. The president now set to give his farewell address from Chicago next week. But are the clergy leaders in that city, are they hopeful that the new administration can make some changes? And what advice do they have for Donald Trump? Corey Brooks is a pastor at New Beginnings Church, which is in Chicago, and he joins us now to weigh in. Good morning, Pastor. Thanks for being with us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me on the show.
You're welcome. So your city has been in the news. We've been reporting it, all of the staggering numbers. That's a big difference. It's almost been doubled since President Obama took office. Set the scene for us, for those folks who don't live in Chicago. What's it like there?
Well, right now what we're dealing with in Chicago is a very toxic environment. We have young men on the streets of Chicago who are unemployed, uneducated, coming from broken homes, and a lot of gang issues, which are causing a lot of the violence in our neighborhoods. It's a very tough neighborhood to live in. A lot of on the south sides and west sides of Chicago, kids are having a very difficult time just trying to live life in a way that they should be able to in America, but that's not being done.
Yeah, when I learned that President Obama was going to be there to give his farewell address to his city that helped elect him and get him in office, I thought that's great. He's going back home to support the city where he grew up or raised his children. But then I thought, are you guys disappointed in him because the numbers have increased with murders, with homicides in your city? What were your thoughts when you think about President Obama?
Well, we're grateful that he's coming back to the city to give a farewell speech. But I believe all of us believe that he could have done more to help with the violence here in the city of Chicago. There's a lot that could have been done, a lot that should have been done, and we're hopeful that in the future that President-elect Donald Trump get out of those.
So you are hopeful. What's your message for Donald Trump if he's watching this morning?
Well, my message for Donald Trump, if he's watching this morning, is just keep his word. It's all about jobs. We believe that jobs trump violence, especially gun violence in the city of Chicago. And if we can provide these young African-American males on the streets of Chicago with jobs and opportunities and give them alternatives to turn their lives around, we believe that can be done. And if Donald Trump keeps his word and creates jobs through the infrastructure that dwindle down to our community, I believe that things can get a lot better.
Pastor, how do we come together as a country?
Well, we got to come together. You know, one of the things I love about our country is that we have the greatest country in the world. And there is no way that living in America that we should not be able to come together as a people, black and white, Hispanics, all of us, Republican, Democrats, independents, to make America better for everyone. People in the city, people in the suburbs, people in the country. We have to make America the place that it should be. And that's the top country in the world. And make it the place where everybody has a chance and everybody has opportunity, regardless if you're on the south sides or the west sides of Chicago. You should have an opportunity to live the American dream, and that's what it's really all about.
Yeah, that's right. All right. Thank you so much, and God bless you. We are praying for that city of Chicago. We wish you all the best.
Thank you. We need it.
Thanks, Pastor Brooks. They agreed to go back to war with the promise of a bonus in return. Then the Pentagon told them to give back the bonuses. The controversy back in the headlines this morning, and we have a major update. And the one and only Dr. Oz is here. There he is with Steve. Come on in, Dr. Oz.
Let's get into it. Get stoned. Get started. Get started. Get started.
Some news by the numbers now. I feel like Dr. Oz is staring at me. I better be perfect. First, 17,500. That's how many California National Guardsmen were originally ordered to pay back re-enlistment bonuses. But now the Pentagon says only a few hundred will have to give back the money they deserve. Next, free. That's how much it could soon cost students to go to college in New York because we have so much money. And guess who's footing the bill? Taxpayers. Governor Cuomo's plan would cost over $100 million a year. No wonder Stewart Varney moved to New Jersey. And speaking of free weed, I wasn't, but weed advocates are lighting up and handing out free joints during Mr. Trump's inauguration. They are kept at a federal level. Let's see how that works.
Good luck with that. Meanwhile, you know, we're in the first week of January. A lot of people are thinking about losing weight, getting healthier. Dr. Oz has been joining us every week through the years. First week of January. And today you're going to tell us about a 21-day diet. Where the headline is what?
The headline, and this is based on three major studies that came out last year, looking at how you can lose weight most effortlessly. It turns out cutting out meat and even dairy products happens to be correlated with a lot of weight loss. It also reduces the incidence of cancer and heart disease and other things that we're now noticing. But the idea that you could make it seem easier to lose weight for the average American is a big deal. In fact, Oprah's on my show today, and she looks...
Winfrey?
Oprah Winfrey looks unbelievable. And she's also sort of automated a program for herself. I think that becomes the key message here. How do you make it easy to do the right things? So you can do it for 3 weeks, because this is a 21-day breakthrough program. And again, we have 1 million people already signed up for it. You know, they can go to the app, DrOz.com. It's all there, simple, easy to do, all free. It's the foods we're about to talk about. But the ultimate goal here is to make it so simple that without trying hard, you effortlessly lose the weight, so you go back to your plane.
That's great. All right, so show us how effortless.
All right, so if you're going to cut out meat, which you don't have to do for the entire time, just 2 days a week you can have meat, but the other 5 days, please don't. You want to replace it with hearty foods. You can have as many non-starchy veggies as you want. Breakfast might be, for example, avocado with a whole grain bread. I said bread. You can have bread, but it's got to be whole grain.
You can only have 2 pieces a day, though.
Yes, 2 pieces
Whole grain, not wheat.
Whole grain. It can be whole wheat too, but it has to be 100% whole grain.
Okay.
And not all whole wheat is.
Got it.
You can have other grains as well. Quinoas, hemps, chia seeds also work. I gave those to you. They're snacks. You can have fruits. And I don't want you ever to be hungry. Please feed the boys. But when you're done the program and each day, you should feel satiated. And the healthy fats, the high fiber, and the high protein, but based primarily on plant proteins, is the key to success. And we have plant proteins now like beans, legumes, There are all kinds of sources: tempeh, tofu, mini seeds. You mentioned pot earlier, hemp seeds, which have no actual THC and then won't get you high. Have it as well. These will get you the protein you need without relying on the high-fat meats that we traditionally have
Dr.
eaten.
Oz, a lot of people, they love to go to the fast food restaurants. They start tasting this stuff and they don't like the way it tastes. Do you get used to it after a while?
Ainsley is probably the biggest and most important issue. I talked about it with Oprah, and you'll hear later today as well. Your taste buds begin to get rebooted. Reset. Listen, you infantilize your taste buds when you eat fast food all the time. You treat them like 5-year-old taste buds. We have sophisticated taste buds as adults. We're supposed to be able to eat foods that have a little bit of bitterness, like these vegetables will often have. And if you can eat as many vegetables as you want, and literally you can, non-starchy veggies, why not take advantage of that opportunity? You get those single little slices on fast food junk or processed food, well, or soft drink, you're never going to be able to keep your diet because your brain's so smart. It says, Steve, you gave me calories but no nutrients. Go back and get more. Whereas Ainsley says, I got nutrients in my body. I got so many, I don't need more calories.
Okay. What are the starchy vegetables that we should avoid?
Well, things like potatoes, because they're grown under the ground, they store their carbs a little differently. And so for the purpose of the diet, to rapidly lose weight, and we had on the program, we've had women lose on average about 10 pounds over a few weeks, so it's pretty impactful. So we do have to restrict some of those things, like go ahead.
Sorry, I know I've asked so many questions, but I'm so fascinated about this. Can you eat butternut squash?
You can eat butternut squash. In fact, that's one of my favorite things. Cut it up. I like to roast it a little bit in a pan with a little olive oil and some peppers. It is unbelievable. We fight in our family. Daphne and I go to battle over the butternut squash.
That's in her cookbook, by the way.
I know.
If that's the biggest fight you have, I think you'll be okay.
We have
butternut squash.
Much bigger ones.
You can't even get to counseling with that explanation. But Dr. Oz, I want to talk to you about one of the hottest things in Washington right now, and that is repeal, replace, or don't Obamacare. Doctors, for the most part, are split 50-50. Love it, hate it. What would you like to see stick? What would you like to see go?
The reason doctors are split is because we know how we really will win the battle for health care. People in Washington can fight about how they're going to pay the bills, but we actually have to reduce the overall bill. What you do that is losing weight, which happens to correlate with a lot of, if you lose weight, all programs work. If we don't, as a nation, get thinner, then it doesn't matter. Nothing's going to be able to affordable. But I'm heading out to Las Vegas for the big CES conference, the big technology conference, and I believe the solution is here. We're going to be able to walk around with little coaches.
An app.
Not just an app. It's an ecosystem where you will be able to walk around on your phone like a good friend with these new artificial intelligence breakthroughs. He's going to say, hey, Steve, go get for that, do this, or Brian, run a little this way, but don't run that way. Subtle little, Ainsley, you need a butternut squash, here's how you're going to make it. And it's not just the food. It's much bigger than that. We can actually tell how much stress is in your voice. Sure. These new technologies help you sleep better.
So you think technology is going to be the key?
8 years ago, when President Obama came to power, we did not have the technologies that currently exist to help people stay healthier. We are in a breakthrough moment now, an iconic moment in our nation's history, and you're going to see this take over the country over the next year to two. It will make it much easier for us to stay healthier, because the battle for health, listen carefully, guys, it's not one on Capitol Hill. Sure. The battle for health is one in our bedrooms, in our kitchens, in our living rooms. That's how America gets healthier.
But right now, we need some money to get the health care you need.
So we haven't seen you since the election. What do you think, President Donald Trump coming soon to a Capitol near you?
To a town near you. I mean, it's an opportunity for change. We'll see what happens. It's a lot of pressure on all the folks involved. So people need to step up and play their best.
There you go. You always do. Dr. Oz, thank you very much. We'll be watching later today to see Oprah.
Right. You're guessing a lot more traffic.
Oprah
Winfrey.
Yeah.
That's right.
Is there another one? I don't know of another one.
By the way, she looks fabulous.
She does.
I have never seen her look like this. I mean, not just in her body where she's going to tell you how much weight she lost. It's unbelievable. But she just energetically is in a unique, great place.
I would like to diet, right?
I would like to see her in person. Oprah, if you're watching, come after you see Dr. Oz, come see us tomorrow.
Please.
Yeah, we would love to have her on the set.
Unless Dr. Oz entrusts me again, can I read that to you?
Please.
Thank you very much. All right,
let me read this. Please, somebody help these C-list celebrities take their country back. I love him.
To the extent that Trump pursues racist,
Sexist, anti-immigrant,
Anti-worker, anti-Muslim, anti-Semitic, anti-environmental policies,
we demand that you vigorously oppose him.
Think that's going to work? And Pete's having breakfast with friends this morning in Smithtown, Long Island. Pete?
Yes. Pancakes and politics here in Smithtown at Marine's Kitchen. I'm filling up glasses, but more importantly, we're asking about how Mr. Trump's doing. This is a special place, busy. Marine's Kitchen. Kevin, you're one of the owners. What makes it special?
Great food, our customers, and consistency, and this is what we're all about.
Consistency is what we want in our country, too. We're going to talk even more about it when we come back.
Dear members of Congress.
Dear members of Congress.
Dear members of Congress.
Dear members of Congress. I'm mad.
Flabbergasted.
Furious.
Concerned for my children.
I'm worried for everyone.
You represent us in Congress.
You are our last line of defense.
So here's what we ask of our elected officials. No, here's what we demand.
We need you.
And we expect you to have our backs.
To protect our civil liberties
And to use your congressional powers
To obstruct.
To obstruct.
obstruct, defeat anything
Anything.
anything that violates our core values as diverse Americans.
Signed, the majority.
the majority
The majority.
The majority.
The majority.
The majority
of the American people.
Those are the auditions for The View earlier today. I mean, my goodness.
Okay, so Hollywood couldn't stop the American people from electing Donald Trump fairly and squarely as president of the United States. So now what they're doing is they put out this public service announcement, so to speak, where they're trying to say, okay, couldn't stop Trump. He's now president of the United States. Congress, stop Trump.
So we asked you guys what you thought. Do you care what Hollywood thinks? And these are some of your responses.
It goes like this. Charles does this, says this. All these cryberries need to grow up. The people, those of us who are the actual majority have spoken.
Yep. Meanwhile, Shane is tweeting, says Hollywood is not the general public. They make way too much money to understand how regular Americans feel. Keep the comments coming. We're going to be reading them all morning long.
And Pete is with a bunch of regular Americans out in your neck of the woods in Smithtown, Long Island. Hey, Pete.
That is right. We are here at Marine's Kitchen, having a fantastic morning. It's filling up. This is a popular place, and people are regulars here, including Bob. And Bob, I'm sitting here with you. You were not sitting alone before. Your friend Kevin was here, who works in the auto industry, but he had to go to work.
Unfortunately, he had to go to work. He was looking forward to.
Like Trump supporters do, they go to work.
They go to work,
and
that's where I'll be in a few minutes.
And so, Bob, what do you do?
I work for the Long Island Railroad.
Okay, and what are you hoping to see from Mr. Trump?
Just putting people to work, bringing people together again. A stronger economy is going to make everybody happy and uplift everybody. And
Kevin had said, with you sitting here, was going to say, look what he's already done for the auto industry.
True.
Do you feel like he's made an impact already?
I feel he has. I mean, he's reaching out to these companies and just kind of warning them that if you want to go build your stuff in other places, we're just going to tax you on the way back in. And I think it's a great idea. We should have been doing this all along.
There we go. Well, Bob, sorry I'm going to have you eating by yourself again. But I'm going to go talk to some more folks. Have a great morning. Hey, guys, how you doing? Good to see you. We've got Victor and Victor Jr. How you doing? Victor is a Marine Corps veteran. And recently we were talking in the break, and you talked about an experience you had at the VA where you fainted, tried to call your doctor, couldn't get in, and your son finally said, I'm going to take you to a private hospital. What's been your experience been like at the VA, and what do you hope Mr. Trump can do?
Well, I'm praying that he gets elected and he fixes it because, like I said, I had 95% blockage. I still haven't heard from my doctor.
How long has it been since when you called?
This is the second week I haven't heard you. Oh, I did get one message. They said he wasn't there.
You got a message that he wasn't there?
Yeah, my rejoinder was, nobody's at the hospital? I thought it was 24/7. First of all, I got nothing but recordings for a week.
Yeah.
Only because I wanted to tell them what they did to me, and they fixed me.
Absolutely. And so you sprung into action to help him out.
My doctor, and she told us to go directly to the hospital, St. Catherine, Siena, and that's where we went, and they found that there was a 95% blockage, and they put a stent in immediately. Made him stay the night.
That's the difference between life and death.
Yeah, basically.
And so, in addition to the VA, what are you hoping to see Mr. Trump do?
I hope he fixes, the regulations on businesses. I know he will. That's why I voted for him. And, get rid of Obamacare, help small businesses. I'm a small business owner. So.
You're a small business owner?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you both for being here.
When he talks to me. And I want to thank you for your service. What I like best about Trump is that I don't need addiction.
I've got another table that I'm supposed to get to, but I'm going to tease that we're going to talk to two great Trump supporters who are at their 15th wedding anniversary, saw the show, came out to this diner, so we're going to talk to them later on in the 8 o'clock hour. But a ton of enthusiasm, I'm telling you. Suffolk County hasn't gone this much for a Republican since 1992, 24 years ago. It went overwhelmingly for Trump. At Smithtown, 28%. So these are folks that went out and came out and drove, Republicans and Democrats, hopeful that he can turn around the economy. That's certainly what we're hearing here. And a lot of fans of the Twitter account. They They like that they can go over the mainstream media and tell the truth to his people and America.
All right. And considering that Suffolk County is made up of the Hamptons, which traditionally has a lot of celebrities and a lot of people that go left, they really overcompensated in a place like Smithtown.
All right, Pete, thank you very much. By the way, speaking of Twitter, Donald Trump just tweeted seconds ago, Julian Assange said a 14-year-old could have hacked Podesta. And then he continues, so why did the DNC, why were they so careless? Also said Russians did not give him the info. So obviously Donald Trump reiterating what Julian Assange told Sean Hannity on his program last night.
John Podesta's password was password.
Was password, right?
I mean, it's unbelievable. Even Joan, Alan Ludden wouldn't have permitted that.
It's always something. Anyway, we'll keep you posted on that. It does look as if the commander-in-chief, soon to be, is tweeting this morning.
He's watching Fox News. He watched Sean's interview.
Also, if he's watching, he could call in. We can give him the number if it's not busy.
888-TELL-FOX. All right. All right, now it's time to tell us the news, and Heather's got that.
Good morning. Good morning to everybody. Great to see you today. We have some brand new dash cam video showing the terrifying moments. A gunman opens fire on a police officer. You can see the officer as he gets out of his car on an Oklahoma highway. He walks to the stopped truck into a hail of bullets. Another officer nearby helping his colleague, rushing him to the hospital. He's expected to be okay. The suspect was caught the very next day. Well, draining the swamp, Senator Ted Cruz and Congressman Ron DeSantis proposing an amendment putting term limits on members of Congress. Now, under that measure, House members would serve 3 two-year terms and senators would serve 2 6-year terms. President-elect Trump backed term limits during his campaign, but that measure could face an uphill battle in Congress. Wonder why? Well, Amazon's Alexa has really expensive taste. Listen to this. The 6-year-old girl standing next to her new $170 dollhouse and holding 4 pounds of cookies. She ordered it with the help of that robot-like device. Listen to this.
What is it?
You'll see.
Sometimes Echo helps out when you least expect.
Amazon Echo, they all go by different names, but you ask it for something and then it's supposed to deliver it. It turns out Alexa heard that little girl say she wanted those high-end items and treated her, of course, on Mom's dime.
That's incredible because that's what I got my wife for.
Alexa?
For
an Alexa? Did she say, Alexa, I want dinner. Alexa, I want a new husband.
Well, yeah.
Did she say that
yet? Next thing you know, Joel showed up.
Exactly. And now you know why Hegseth's in Long Island today.
Yeah. What's going on with that?
See you soon. I'm in trouble.
He's 30 minutes away. Okay.
See, I didn't buy one of those. If I want the TV on, I just turn it on.
Right. But it does.
The radio
It's great. I'll say, Alexa, play classical music. She plays it. Alexa, play toddler music. She plays it. It's great. It's awesome.
There you
it's a good
go.
gift. I love it.
All right. It is 18 minutes before the top of the hour. President Obama desperate to save Obamacare. President-elect Donald Trump desperate to replace it. But with what? Congressman Pete Sessions is behind the alternative, the so-called world's great health care bill ever, and he's live next.
And this kid is in big trouble. The son of a new congressman stealing his dad's thunder, dabbing like Cam Newton right beside Speaker Paul Ryan. That kid's very public punishment from the speaker next
I can't figure out what he's
doing. He didn't know what was happening. They're going viral, those viral headlines. The Trumps and Obamas are about to be neighbors. Ivanka Trump and her family are reportedly moving just 2 blocks away from the outgoing president in Washington, D.C. That should be a fun block party. And this is a look inside the $5.5 million house. Look at that. They don't know we're watching. It's unclear if the Trumps are renting or they bought it. We don't know if they have the down payment. And our colleague Megyn Kelly moving on.
After more than a dozen years at Fox News, I have decided to pursue a new challenge.
Well, Megyn will host a daytime show on NBC, a Sunday news magazine show on a daily program on NBC. Her last show on Friday will be this Friday night. She'll also have a Sunday night show going against 60 Minutes. And good luck to Megyn. Steve?
Indeed. Good luck, Megyn. Meanwhile, the 115th Congress was just sworn in, and one of the top priorities for Republican lawmakers, repealing Obamacare. Did you hear that? So how are they going to get it done? Well, let's talk to Texas Congressman Pete Sessions. He is the chairman of the House Rules Committee. He joins us right now. So, Congressman, the bill to replace it was originally called the HELP Act, but now it is called the World's Greatest Healthcare Plan. Tell us what's in it.
Well, essentially what we're trying to push is an answer that my conference would need to be behind.
Yep.
And the plan is that we would repeal and replace at the same time. You see, what people want is health care that works. And so what we do is in essence, we repeal Obamacare, we use the money that is in the system, and we make sure it works. And we do away with the system that is unfair, and that is the pre-tax